Hey everybody, it's Eric from epautos.com, your Libertarian car guy, and I'm going to do a quick, because it's rainy, walk around of the 2017 Mercedes Metris minivan with my new little camera here. If you've gone to the website lately, you probably read the little blurb I had up there about my Contour Roam, which isn't roaming much anymore. I couldn't deal with it anymore, so Hulk smash. Anyway, let's talk about the Metris. Probably most people don't even know that Mercedes makes a minivan, but they do. And the thing that's particularly cool about this minivan is that unlike pretty much all other current new minivans, this one's rear-wheel drive, which means you can do a burnout if that appeals to you. And if it doesn't appeal to you, something that's a little bit more practical is that it is more capable of pulling a pretty hefty load. This thing has a 5,000 pound maximum tow rating, and that is significantly better than the run-of-the-mill 3,500 pound max tow rating that you'll find for large minivans like the Toyota Sienna and the Honda Odyssey and so on. And speaking of the large vans, I've noticed that a lot of my colleagues out there in the car press have been comparing the Metris to the little mini vans, the ones that are actually mini, like the Ford Transit Connect and the Dodge ProMaster City and the Nissan NV200. And I don't get that, because if you check out the specs and the dimensions, you'll find that this Metris is actually larger in some dimensional aspects than some of the current full-size minivans. It's certainly massively larger than any of the minivans like the NV200 and the Transit Connect. Now, of course, it doesn't have a V6. It comes with a 4-cylinder engine. All the other vans, the Sienna, Odyssey, the Pacifica, and so on, come standard with V6s. But, again, check out that maximum tow rating, and as far as acceleration, they're all in the same ballpark. The Metris is slightly slower, but it's not a dog. It's not slow, as most of the minivans are. In particular, the poor little Nissan NV200, which, incidentally, has no tow rating at all. It's not suggested that you pull anything with it. It's just a little knock-around jitney bus thing for, whatever you're going to use it for that doesn't involve a lot of weight. Anyway, let's see. What else about this before the rain gets too heavy? It's about as long as most of the other minivans, but it's not as high off the ground, and it's not as wide. If you look at that, it's hard to tell. I don't know if you can see with this camera, but it's a couple inches narrower through the hips than the other traditional full-size vans, which makes it easier to slot in and out of parking spaces. It's also got a lower step-in height, and it's lower to the ground, and that makes loading it pretty easy too. Now, I don't have the key with me, of course, brilliant stone thinker that I am, but let's see if the Mercedes Metris will let me open up the back. Yes, it will. And by the way, you can get the one-piece liftgate like this if you want, or you can get the 2 sliding Dutch doors if you prefer. Now look at how low that height is. I'm going to squat down here. So, I mean, it's, I don't know, about a foot maybe off the ground. With a small ramp, I could load a motorcycle in here, and that's no joke. The other thing about the Metris is that it's got a taller roof line than some of the other minivans. So you actually could roll a motorcycle in here if you wanted to do such a thing. Not that you necessarily would, but you certainly could. And also, hey, it is a Mercedes. Now, granted, it's not as decked out as an S-Class, but it's still a pretty nice vehicle overall, and it's a Mercedes. So, while it has a somewhat plasticky dash, the refinement of the drivetrain in particular is really top drawer. Some of the deficits are that the infotainment system looks about 5 years old. It's perfectly serviceable, but it's not what you would call state-of-the-art for 2017. And while you do have the availability of the usual dual sliding doors and all of that, yada yada, it's not as swanky back here. Now, you can get it kitted out if you want to by, an aftermarket, or probably even the dealer would do it for you. But as they come from the factory, you can't get some of the stuff that you can get in some of the other premium vans, like a loaded Sienna or a loaded Pacifica, such as a dual drop-down DVD entertainment system and, sliding captain's chairs and all that stuff. That said, this is a relatively affordable van too. It starts around $25,000, and the top trim loaded up is about the same as what you pay for a comparable Sienna or an Odyssey. And again, if you want something that can actually tow a load and do a burnout, you might want to check this thing out. Anyway, hopefully this video will actually load. I'm going to go in the house now and see if it does. Also, I've got a rant up on the site that I just posted today about this business in Utah, where the Mormon politicians there have decided to almost have the legally allowable standard for driving while intoxicated. It's going to go down to 0.05. That'll be enough to get you nailed for drunk driving, in air quotes, in the great state of Utah. So there's a rant up on the site about that, which I hope you'll check out. Thanks for viewing, and we will catch up with you again soon.